I teach in something called the business intelligence program. So effectively data. So data and data architectures, data infrastructures, those types of things.
As far as the technology that you're using in your classroom right now, what is that technology that you would say has absolutely changed the way that you teach and the way that students are learning?
When it comes to technology, I use a lot of the traditional technologies that we expect in today's world and then augment it more, not so much with the technology, but with what we understand about how people learn and connecting the access to information using technology that makes that more effective.
Can you give us a specific example or like a use case in which you've done that?
Yeah, so a use case there would be, let's say I want to teach a certain subject. The traditional way that we might teach that subject is what I call an information exchange. We have a number of objectives and we have a number of activities to support that objective. Personally, I find that somewhat useful, but generally pretty boring. Nobody wants to go and listen to a record in order to learn, even though records are technology, right? But I would use something like, say, an artificial intelligence tool, and I would have the learner construct the knowledge that they want to learn with guidance. So the idea is that what we'll do is we'll build a learning solution using technology, then engage in what we've built so that we can understand as opposed to simply repeat what we've heard. So rather than information exchange, we can use tools like artificial intelligence for the student to interact with the subject matter so that they can extract the learning they need at the time they learn it.
But what I'm picking up a little bit there is like a higher level of personalization. Is that correct?
Yes, so that's exactly it. So if I have an information product, like you need to learn how to install a certain piece of software, that's great. But that's searchable, isn't it? And nobody who creates a piece of software doesn't provide, manuals and doesn't provide videos and YouTube videos that even I create, you create, that show you how to install that software. But by using something like an artificial intelligence virtual assistant, the student can go in and ask questions like, why would I want to install this software? What are the circumstances where this software will benefit? Then, when they install the software, which is definitely a skill transfer, they have context. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the SAMR model, SAMR model. It talks about the integration of technology into education. So it talks about the idea of we can use technology as a substitution. If we use technology as a substitution, we have to ask ourselves, what was the point? It may be because it's part of a pathway to more integrated use of that technology. That's fine. But we begin with substitution. Then what we do is we move it to augmentation. So we augment what we're doing because that technology facilitates that augmentation. So maybe I use my digital whiteboard and I'm able to bring in clip art, or I'm able to bring in tip. We've augmented. Then we can modify and do things that we couldn't do before. So that's the M in the SAMR model. We're modifying what we do in a way that we couldn't do things before. And this opens up new possibilities with the technology. And then finally, we replace. So we're no longer using it in the old way. We're actually doing things that we couldn't do before because that technology enables it. So I use that as a framework for any new technology that I bring into the classroom, where I look at each element of how I'm going to bring that technology in to reach a point where we're doing things that we couldn't do before.
Where do you see that this model that you're talking about is actually falling short in the present moment right now?
Well, just in its awareness of the model and in the implementation of the model, I think a lot of times people are stuck at the substitution phase, just doing the same things in a different way. So one of the challenges that we have around artificial intelligence is that people are worried that students are going to use artificial intelligence to cheat, right? So if you read out there, like, how will students be able to do authentic assessment? Will they be able to learn how to write if they're using artificial intelligence to cheat? That's a mindset that comes out of the idea that artificial intelligence will just become a substitution for activities that students are doing. But maybe what we should do is we should look at artificial intelligence and ask ourselves, how can it augment our writing? How can it modify our writing in a way that makes our writing better? How can we replace the way that we're currently writing, focusing on aspects of writing which may not be as valuable? How can we communicate? Because what's the point of writing? The point of writing is to communicate ideas. So maybe we can use it as a way to help us better communicate ideas. I mean, I'll give you an example. How did people cheat in the 1950s? By passing notes, pen and paper. How did people cheat in the 1990s? By using text messaging, by using electronic devices. How did people cheat in the 2000s? By using the internet and doing Google searches. But were any of these people cheating, or were they collaborating, right? So you'll notice the technology didn't stop the activity of academic dishonesty. It created an opportunity to do it in a more efficient way, but it didn't change the core. If we talked about how we could incorporate those tools for learning, I think that's where our focus should be.
When you brought in these different types of methods, right? The methods were different, but the core, like you said, was the same. And it really struck me when you said collaborating, and that's what I've personally been using and seeing AI myself recently as before when it first came out. When I started playing with it maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I would use it as almost like a Google search. It's like I give you this, you give me something back, and that's it. Now I'm seeing it much more as a dialogue, as a conversation, as why would I do this? And having that sort of conversation and deeper dialogue.
And and just to blow your mind, you're actually collaborating with yourself. But what you're doing is you're collaborating with a self, because you're collaborating with someone that can do rapid search. You're collaborating with somebody that can do rapid synthesis, all of the mechanical things that we always wished we could do. But ultimately, because you're the one doing the prompting, you are in fact collaborating with yourself. It's just one of yourselves has the ability to do retrieval much better than you do. Because if you don't put in the right questions, you're not going to get the right answers out. So now we're getting into a whole realm of how do we enable humans to have critical thinking skills and to have the ability to interact with themselves in a meaningful way.